Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about a blog post that I did where I compared the fall of Rome to the United States. So this is going to be kind of a controversial blog or video, whatever. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but it's something that we really need to consider and take into consideration because I was doing an article on financial collapse, and as I was doing my research for this article, I came across an article, the 8 Reasons Why Rome Fell. The parallels that I saw between what I see going on in the United States today and what happened back in the time of the Roman Empire were too eerily similar. So after I finished the article for financial collapse and how to prepare for it, both of which are available on my blog or on my website, I will put a link to the Rome comparison article in the comments below this video. But so after I finished the financial collapse article, I went back to do some further research on 8 Reasons Why Rome Fell. And it got kind of scary. I mean, to me, it's kind of scary. I see us following the same path as Rome, and it's not a good path. So in the news, I've been coming across articles that are talking about this caravan and caravans that are coming from Mexico, Honduras, the Central America region. And one article actually, the title was "The Barbarians Are at the Gate." One of the events that occurred prior to Rome's fall was the barbarians who attacked from within. So I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen. I'm not trying to be a fearmonger or anything to that effect. But I am trying to get folks to see that business as usual is changing. It's not the same as it was. And if we don't take steps to change the path that we're on, our path may lead to the same path that Rome took just before its collapse. So things that you need to be focused on are, as we've talked about in these videos, situational awareness, what's going on around you. If you stick your head in the sand like an ostrich, then you shouldn't be surprised that the lion lands on your back and takes you out. Okay? So be situationally aware, be ready. The news is full of talk of financial collapse occurring. The article that I did on the financial collapse, if financial collapse happens, that's going to be a shift in how we live our daily lives, okay? Because a lot of things are going to go down. A lot of things are going to happen. And as part of that article, I discussed the global impacts of the economy, because back in the 1930s and stuff, when we had that depression, our economies were not so globally dependent on other countries. It was still fairly kind of separate. But now, if something happens in China, something happens in Japan, something happens in Britain, something happens in Australia, almost anywhere in the world, if economies start to tank, the repercussions of those events are felt across the world. So we have become so dependent on technology. Even this video would not have probably been possible back in, the 1900s, early 1900s, because, video cameras or video was not a common thing, and it was very expensive. So while there are some good aspects of having the technologies that we have today, there's also some downfalls. And part of those downfalls is this interconnection between different countries and their economy. So being self-sufficient and self-reliant is something that we've kind of gotten away from, but we need to get back to if we, as individuals, plan to survive this, some kind of a catastrophic event, such as a complete financial collapse or even a partial financial collapse, even if it's only partial, even if it only happens for a short period of time. There is going to be a long period of time where you're not going to be able to go to the store and buy a loaf of bread. Or if you do, it's going to cost an exorbitant amount of money. So for most of us, that's not going to be a possibility. I don't know, some of you listening to this may be, well-to-do and well-off, and it won't impact you. But for the majority of us, it's going to be a life-altering event, at the best, for a good long period of time. One of the things that I talk about in some of my classes is the scale of disasters and how their impacts are felt. The disaster itself, or the emergency, the event that actually occurs that creates the disaster, is a short period. Tornadoes are an example of that. Tornadoes don't normally hang out over a particular area for an extended period of time. They usually come in, destroy, and move out. The effects of that can be felt for weeks or months after that. Power lines go down, houses, businesses, buildings are destroyed. All of these things impact us after the event has occurred. Hurricanes are another one. Now, the duration of a hurricane can be longer than a tornado, and the impacts can be felt for much longer. In fact, Katrina, there are still not back to the way they were before Katrina hit. So a financial collapse that occurs is going to, the event itself will last for quite a long period of time. How long that is going to be dependent on how bad the collapse actually is. If it's really bad, it could last for a long period of time. The impact of that event after the fact is going to be probably even longer, because it's going to take us longer to get back on our feet. And in the case of Rome, they never did. They were never again the power that they were before. That's a potential possibility for the United States as well. Now, I don't know that the catalyst will be these caravans that's coming. It may be the litany of things that have been going on in the direction that we've been taking. So, again, my point of all of this is be situationally aware, stay balanced. Remember the core of calm, because when this happens, it's going to be something that's going to rock your world. So you need to be ready so that when it does happen, you are able to deal with not only the emergency itself, but the impacts of that emergency for the period of time afterwards until things get back to quote unquote normal. So, learn how to become self-sufficient, self-reliant. Learn how to grow your own food. Learn how to cook your own food. You're going to have to go through that mental process that we were talking about in the video the other day about, changing your mental expectations, preparing yourself mentally for the possibility of, things not being the normal that you're used to. And just be ready. I cannot emphasize that enough. So apologize for missing yesterday's video. I was kind of overcome by events. A good friend of mine is getting ready to put out a book, and I've been helping to get that book put together. I don't think she's ready to release the date exactly yet. Haven't heard. So once I get it, then I will probably talk about it. But it's a really good book. It's focused on survival and determination and how you can make it through a difficult situation by, just setting your mind that you're going to do it. Okay. One of the shows that I like, Highway Through Hell, they say closure is no option. Well, in the case of this, failure is not an option, because failure in being ready for emergencies means that you may not be around afterwards. So again, I'm not trying to scare you. As for me, I'm ready. Do I have everything? Do I have stockpiles and warehouses full of stuff? No, I don't. But the part that's the most important is ready. So whatever happens, I'll deal with it, and I'll make the best of what I have. So with that, we're going to close. Again, apologize for yesterday's video being absent, but the cause was good, and I think that the book that's going to be coming out pretty soon is well worth the read. It's definitely something that you should add to your library. My hope for wish for all of you is to be ready for whatever's coming. Okay, whether it's a personal disaster or if it's a global disaster, which I think we're on the cusp of a global disaster. Be ready. Remember the core of calm. If you don't know what that is, if you do not know how to be ready, how to have the core of calm, contact us. We will help to get you the classes that you need to help learn how to get into that focused, centered, balanced state, and be ready for whatever comes down your road. Okay, so appreciate your tuning in. Again, subscribe, please. That way you can get the videos as we post them. If you have complaints, comments, kudos, then contact us, Guy at greatlivingsources.com. Visit our website. You can also leave comments there. You can comment on the channel itself. But whatever you do, be ready and remember the core of calm. All right, thank you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.